Today I'm making doner, and yes, this isn't your typical doner. I'm going to be smoking it, and I'm going to be wrapping it in lavash bread, which is done sometimes. Looks really like a shawarma in a way, but I'm going to top it off with some sumac onions and a really delicious garlicky Greek yogurt sauce. So, without further ado, people, stay tuned. Let's make this shit. Okay, so for today we're making doner, and it's not your typical doner. I mean, I don't have the beautiful bread that they throw it into. All I could find today was lavash bread, which is awesome. So it's going to be more like a wrap, and you're going to think to yourself, oh, well, this is shawarma. Well, not necessarily so. Sometimes it's not necessarily so, because sometimes doner is wrapped, and there is a difference between doner, shawarma, and gyros, but they're very, very, very similar. Why are they similar? Well, you gotta think historically. A lot of these nations were conquered by other rulers, or there were spice trades and immigration and people teaching each other different techniques. It's very similar at the end of the day. If you've ever had Romanian minced, I have that on my channel. It's awesome. It's an awesome recipe. It is very similar to kofta. They're almost exactly the same. Why? Regions, conquering, immigration, spice trades, all of that. So this isn't going to be a very super traditional dish. If you've watched my channel, you know I don't stick to tradition, because I'm not a big fan of sticking to tradition unless it comes down to certain things like a steak au poivre or something like that. Then I'll try to get it as close to authentic as possible to respect it. In my honest opinion, and I'm no chef, but I don't think that food can evolve if we only stick to traditions. So, without further ado, let's make this shit. All right, so to get us started off, we're going to use some very piping hot water. You can use boiling water, whatever you want. And I'm going to fill that into a bowl. And then I'm going to drop some dry Chile de Arbol chilies into it. Now, I'm going to use about 6 because I like a lot of heat, but it's up to you what you want to use. Then, Fresno chilies. Yep, there they are, Fresno peppers. Drop them in a pan and then put them into the broiler for about 10 to 15 minutes. This is going to be a really essential part of the recipe. Now, I'm going to take some smoked paprika and probably like 2 tablespoons of that, half a tablespoon of cumin, which you know I don't like cumin, but it works well sometimes. And then some coriander, about a tablespoon of coriander as well, into this blender. Then I'm going to drop in about 5 cloves of garlic and the juice of half of a lemon. Then I'm going to go ahead and add about 6 of those Fresno chilies that we broiled into the blender cup, followed by a tablespoon of some tomato paste. Okay, then I'm going to add some avocado oil here, so about 2 to 3 tablespoons of avocado oil. Then I'm going to go ahead and blend this for our marinade. All right, and then in a big bowl, I'm going to add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of Greek yogurt. And then I'm going to come through with what we just blended, put that in there, and give it a really good mix so that we get a really good marinade. Now, I'm going to drop some chicken thighs into here, and honestly, you can let this marinate overnight or let it sit for 2 hours to 4 hours and then grill it right away. It's up to you what you want to do, but we want to give it a good mix and well coat these pieces of chicken thighs and then marinate them. Alright, so I have my smoker going at 250 to 275. That's what you want. And I'm using about 250 right here because I like a low and slow process. Put the chicken in there and I want it to smoke for about 2 to 3 hours.
And then I'm gonna start working on my sauce. So the sauce starts with some avocado oil, about 2 tablespoons of that, and then 2 heaping tablespoons of Greek yogurt. Yes, Greek yogurt. And then I'm gonna come through with about 4 to 6 cloves of some garlic, which I'm gonna mince into there. Followed by half of a lemon here, which I got. And I'm gonna juice half of a lemon and put that in there to help give it some more flavor, which will bring in some acidity. So once that's done, we're gonna give it a good mix. And then we're gonna start working on our sumac onions, which I'm gonna add too because I already had some sumac onions in my fridge. So with 1 large red onion, or purple onion if you wanna call it that, give it some nice thin slices. And then we're gonna start incorporating this into some sumac onions I made previously. But before we do, we're gonna add some sumac. Yes, sumac, which you can find on Amazon or at your local grocer. And give it about a teaspoon of sumac to a tablespoon, and then add it into this mixture, which is parsley, onions, you know, the red onions that we just talked about, and some lemon juice. And just give it a good mix. Sumac onions are very versatile, very delicious. Then on my mandolin, which I'm gonna cut these cucumbers very thin. I want long, thin slices. You can use pickles if you want, but I wanted fresh cucumbers. And I gotta say, fresh cucumbers go so well with this dish. I mean, look at these. They look freaking awesome. Okay, so we're ready to start plating. So the chicken is done. And I'm gonna go ahead and just cut it down and into little nice bite-sized pieces. And in the meanwhile, I'm gonna start heating up my stove because I want to wrap these in the lavash bread, kind of like a burrito, add some oil to the pan, and then give it a nice sear. But let's go ahead and plate. So we've got our chicken, then we've got our cucumbers, and I'm going to come through with some of those sumac onions, and of course, that beautiful sauce that we just made. Put that in there, wrap it up kind of like a burrito, you know, it's okay. We're going to do it like a burrito style, and then we're going to sear it on all sides till it's nice and golden brown. And then after that, we are done. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half, and I got to say, this was awesome. So I hope you made this. Let me know in the comments below and enjoy.
All right, we're done. And yeah, I'm going to take a bite out of this. And honestly, this looks amazing. So here we are. Very good, very fresh, very awesome. I can't say any more about how much I love this dish. So, we're done here, and yeah, if you like this, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out. Cheers. I'm gonna eat this shit.